Thank you everybody for coming to my birthday party for my big 60th birthday. You know, as I was approaching my 60th birthday, I thought, you know, you can't do anything about getting older, so you might as well laugh about it, you know? So, are you ready to laugh? Well, let me take you back to January 1st, 1950, in Peoria, Illinois, where I was born. The story I've been told is my mom's obstetrician was actually at a New Year's Eve party when he got the call that my mom was in labor. And he'd had a few drinks, but he rushed to the hospital. The truth is, he was so drunk he almost dropped me on my head. You say he did drop me on my head? That explains a few things. But I've always been blessed to be a New Year's baby. You know, there's always a party going on somewhere and free booze, and that's always nice. But it has its disadvantages too. You know, it seems like my birthday always gets mixed up with all these New Year's events. I mean, I grew up watching the Rose Bowl parade on TV thinking it was my birthday party. But you know, besides me being born in 1950, a lot of great things happened that year. Did you know that Silly Putty was invented in 1950? Silly Putty, yeah.
I love Silly Putty.
Yeah. My mom gave it to me to teeth on. You wonder how I got a jaw like this? Also, the same month I was born, the TV remote was invented. Now that was a match made in heaven. That's for sure, if you know my TV watching habits. And the great Harry Truman was still president in 1950. Right. You all remember Harry's famous slogan? The buck stops here?
Oh, yeah.
Well, my slogan's always been more like, don't stop here unless you got the bucks. And you know what? Back in 1950, there were still only 48 states. And just think, if we hadn't added Alaska and Hawaii, we wouldn't have Barack Obama or Sarah Palin. And no, Nikki, we can't give Alaska back. Okay, we need those guys. You know? They could see Russia from there.
From their house.
Ask Sarah. But I can't complain about turning 60. I've had a great life so far, and had really a lot of funny experiences, most of them at my expense, and I'll share a few of them with you. But one of the rites of passage in our family was working at the family furniture store in Peoria, right? Blum's Furniture. Well, my time was in high school during summer break, and you know, in our family, you start from the ground up, so I got assigned to the delivery crew, the furniture delivery crew that summer. And I had a boss man who was a very funny black guy by the name of Freddie. Well, one day we got a shipment of lamps in to the store, and Freddie told me to take them down to the basement for storage. So I stacked 4 or 5 boxes on a hand truck, and I headed for the basement stairs. And I really wasn't very experienced furniture handler back then, so I thought I could ease the load down the stairs one step at a time, you know. Well, of course, the law of gravity took over, and I went flying down the stairs on my rump, holding the hand truck all the way down, and ended up at the bottom in a heap of boxes. And the next thing I hear is Freddie calling down the stairs to me. It's like, well, now I know that there's dumb white people too. I mostly enjoyed working at the store that summer, but the one job that I liked the least was the repossession runs, when we had to go out and get the furniture because people didn't pay. And my Uncle Ken was running the store back then. So one day he handed me an address, and he said, these customers haven't paid their installments for 6 months, so, you know, go get the truck and pick up the furniture. Well, what he forgot to tell me was the place that he was sending me was a brothel. But it didn't take me long to figure it out once I got there. It was pretty obvious that the ladies lounging around on the furniture weren't working for the Red Cross. So when I told the madam of the house, while I was there, she was naturally pretty upset, and she says to me, "We sure don't want to lose our furniture. Is there any other way we can pay you?" Of course, I was a randy young guy at that time, but all I could think was, I'd sure like to take her up on the offer, but how am I going to explain this to Uncle Ken? So later on in life, I got into the radio business, as most of you know, and we did a lot of fun promotions. And one of my favorite stations was Y100 in Fort Lauderdale. And I remember every year we would rent a big yacht and enter it into the Christmas boat parade in Fort Lauderdale. And my first year at the station, since I was the new guy, I got assigned to be Santa Claus. So I was actually pretty excited about it, and I got to the boat early, but it was a particularly hot day for a December day, and I put the Santa suit on too early, and I got all dehydrated, and then I decided to have a few drinks. Well, it wasn't too long before Santa was soused. And then I passed out cold on the deck of the boat. Well, the Y100 guys had quite a sense of humor, and they didn't want to have a Y100 boat without Santa on it. So they stood me up, got some rope, and they lashed me to the front mast of the boat. So there was Santa all the way down the Intercoastal. I can imagine the kids along the parade route were asking, "Mommy, why isn't Santa waving back?" But, if that wasn't embarrassing enough, they took pictures of me like that. And then they printed the pictures in the Y100 newsletter with the headline, "Santa gets slayed in the boat parade." But, even though I'm getting older, I pride myself in being a hip old dude. I like to keep up with modern technology. I'm getting an iPhone for my 60th birthday, putting an app on it for the AARP. I even joined Facebook and found out how many friends I have that I haven't talked to in 20 years. But I'm still a fan of the original social networking. The family sitting around the dinner table, yelling at each other. Now that was real communication, So. Now one thing I don't do is Twitter, and although Pam says I tweet when I sleep, but even if I was on Twitter, what would a 60-year-old guy tweet? "I had a good stool this morning"? I even like some of the reality shows on TV, but most of them are really lame. This might surprise you, but I'm not keeping up with the Kardashians. The truth is, those girls would have trouble keeping up with me. So I think it's only appropriate that I look back and realize that my birthday, January 1st, 1950, was exactly in the middle of the 20th century. So I guess you could say I was the halftime show, and today I'm the halftime show. So I thank you all, I love you all, and appreciate the fact that you all have helped me share all this. And even the dogs are barking.
There you go.
That was awesome.
Hit the red bell.